Hello everybody, my name is Scidleee, and today we are doing week number 4 challenge today. And so there's 4 kind of goals. The primary goal is recreate Apollo 7, which is just a flyby mission of Kerbin, orbit Kerbin. The other one is a stretch, which is recreate the Apollo 8 mission, fly to the moon orbit, then return to Kerbin. So it's a flyby of the moon. It's not that interesting either. The jab level is an interesting one. It's basically recreate Apollo 11 mission, fly to the moon, land a crew, return to that crew to Kerbin. And then the Valve one is the most interesting one. Recreate your favorite rocket, either planned or fictional, land a crew on Duna, and return to Kerbin. So I have 3 rockets on the pad right here. If we could zoom in, there we go. We have a Starship rocket here. We have a version of the N1 rocket with 24 engines. And then lastly, we have the Saturn V, slightly modified to my standard. So we'll start off with the Starship.
A few minutes later.
Anyways, we are here at the dawn of the launch. We'll just skip it. We'll reduce it. We don't need that much thrust. Let's just go straight up. How it's supposed to be. Okay, Scidleee here with the voiceover. And, well, what just happened? Well, both the Starship and the N1 rocket use the same booster stage, and I was just not very good at designing the booster stage because I think it needs to be a bit bigger, but I don't find any suitable engines that I can actually put 30 engines. Technically, the N1 rocket had 30 engines at the starting stage, but the Starship that has yet to be flown of the date of this recording has 33 engines. So I ran into a lot of issues. I've done a lot of R&D testing on the craft, and nothing seemed to work. So I decided to not go with the last challenge and just do a classic not a Starship, a Saturn V Apollo 11 mission, which is to just simply land on the moon, and dock. Lots of issues did happen, but yeah, you're gonna see a few issues that I will encounter very shortly again. That's what I want. I want to fling it like how they did it in Opolo. They actually flung the... Yeah, they flung it out. They flung out the other booster. If you're wondering what I'm talking about the third stage booster, which is currently attached to the craft, as it's used twice, one for burning into the moon, to the translunar, to get into translunar orbit, and the other one to I think it was slightly to deorbit it. But in Apollo 12, there was an incident where they miscalculated it, and it missed its target, and it got sent out, flinging out of Earth's orbit, and eventually it was in a very unstable orbit, and it got back, and it's coming back to Earth, and it either might hit the Earth or the moon, but it's very unstable, so we might see something happen in the future. We don't know too much about it. As you see here, I'm going back and forth as I experiencing some extreme lag and dropping of frames, as you see in the top of my core of the screen. I'm pulling about like very low, very low frames. Turns out during that separation, a bunch of the small debris have separated from the craft, and so this is me just deleting it to save frame rate. As you see, it is improving now, and now I could actually do a proper docking maneuver. Originally, I don't remember if they did it on the translunar trajectory, or was it during the lunar orbit, but this is usually, I thought this was an appropriate place to actually dock the two vessels together, which, as you see, I did pretty well. Right now, after a successful docking, I'm going to now stabilize my orbit around the moon by retrograding, slowing down my speed, and then changing my angle of attack to a more equilateral orbit, so it's easier to descend and ascend from the moon. Just so it's easier to redock to the capsule again. So this is where we get the last time where we're gonna get no major issues, but there's gonna be issues after. Now I'm going to transfer the crew from one craft to the other. I didn't know that I could there's a button to just transfer the crew and also fuel, which gives me more problems in the future. Now, a couple of things to talk about while I descend onto the surface of the moon. I basically realized only a couple days after that I could have just transferred the crew instead of putting them in EVA into the vacuum of space, and you'll just see the rest of the chaos unfolding. Oh crap! I didn't see the amount of fuel we had left. Fun fact: during the Apollo 11 mission, Neil Armstrong almost actually ran out of fuel in their descent stage, but it was also recorded that he had the softest touchdown on the lunar surface, which is pretty incredible. He had only like a couple percentage of fuel left, which I think I do repeat myself here, but I just find it really cool that you kind of lined up that I almost ran out of fuel as I was descending onto the mud. This is just like Apollo 11. We're barely gonna have enough fuel. Though, spoiler alert, I'm not gonna have the softest landing. 6%. 5. And ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. Yeah, this was less eventful during the landing. Not like last time where I really did a KSP kind of landing. This one did kind of hover in the air, but everything else went pretty smooth. The Kerbals got out, they jumped around, I tested the jetpacks. It seemed to be fixed. For some reason, the jet did want to go. As you see, I couldn't type numbers in the title, so I kind of just put 2 L's in lowercase. So now we're gonna go back, and this is where we're gonna experience a few troubles where I couldn't reboard the Kerbals into the capsule for re-entry. So here's me doing a eyeballing kind of rendezvous thing, where I'm just looking at how fast I'm approaching, how close will I be approaching before that happens, and basically you gotta kind of set it to the target and then kind of slow down your craft as much as you can and then just burn towards it. That's gonna give you like the closest approach. That's what I've learned, is you'll get the closest approach. As you see, we're getting pretty close and the craft is spinning because SAS is wonky. And of course, I'm so smart, I'm docking at dark because I'm that good at the game. Spoiler alert, no I'm not, and it took me like multiple tries, but thankfully I packed a lot of monopropellant, but I should have packed more on the ascent stage. So here's me docking it. Whoa. Revert. Yeah, this happens a couple of times. So my solution was to just maybe use the orbit. It didn't like that I was in the lunar orbit, so let's just get it out of the lunar orbit and put it into a Kerbin orbit, and let's just try to bring it back. But I noticed I screwed up. The maneuver nodes aren't really that great right now. They're still a bit glitchy. As you see, I do it and then it's just like not working at all, so I had to revert. Try doing it again. As you see, not very accurate. So I get out and just try to adjust from there. I get pretty close. I'm satisfied. And now it's time to transfer the crew. As again, I said, I tried to plant the flag, which I think just screwed up even more. So I tried reverting it, and I just couldn't board the Kerbals anymore. Turns out I could have just gone to the Kerbal manager, which I didn't even know existed up until 2 days ago. And now I'm just, I feel like an idiot. I could have just transferred the crew. I even could have transferred fuel for all I knew. But I said, you know what? I'm going to improvise. I'm going to land both the Ascend module, the lunar lander part, and the capsule into just to try to land the crew safely. This is actually a bit cut, shortened down. The first time, the capsule just sank to the bottom of the ocean. I couldn't recover it. And again, spoiler alert, this time was much more successful. So this comes to the end of our week number 4 challenge. I can't wait for week number 3. It should be more of a, I guess it's more of a mission type instead of a looking better type. So probably Duna or a space station, but probably Duna, which I've never done yet. So it'll be a very interesting video. Anyways, I am Scidleee, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.